Well, to talk more about Nasrallah's comments and about his past 30 years as the head of the Hezbollah organisation, we are joined by Tony Badran, Research Fellow at the Foundation for the Defence of Democracies, the FDD. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. So first of all, you heard the comments there by Hassan Nasrallah. How worried should Israel be about his claims, specifically about precision-guided missiles?
Well, I mean, this is something that Israel has known about and has been exposing in public whenever it gets intelligence to expose. And at one point, it even targeted one piece of machinery that was essential to this production effort in Beirut with a precise, as it happened, precise drone strike in the middle of Beirut. But we don't quite know the exact number. The Israeli intelligence estimates about how many of those precision missiles they have converted vary. But basically, this is not news per se. It's something that Israel is very well aware of and constitutes probably the biggest threat to Israel's immediate security at the moment, which is what the campaigns, what Israel called the campaign between wars has been about, to try to degrade these capabilities and prevent them from developing any further.
Now, he also spoke today about the 1982 war with Israel. One newspaper said he was kind of reminiscing about it. And he said that it was Hezbollah who maintained Lebanon's identity then. And he said that he is still doing that today. What do you read into that?
Well, I mean, this is, again, standard propaganda that this group and Hassan Nasrallah specifically keeps pumping out. It's nothing new, because whenever you have electoral seasons in Lebanon, you get a lot of this type of rhetoric, as many as groups try to position themselves and start to to get outside funding and support, start attacking Hezbollah before they end up cutting deals with it. And so Hezbollah uses that and retaliates from the other direction about how they're actually fundamental to the social fabric of Lebanon, which happens to be absolutely true. I mean, the Hezbollah represents the largest demographic constituent in Lebanon, the largest community. They hold all levers of power in Lebanon. They are the Lebanese state. It's not that they exist separately from the state. They are the most powerful actor in Lebanon, and they are unlike the PLO. They didn't land from somewhere else. So they are from Lebanon. They also, however, are followers of the Iranian regime and its ruling ideology and its ruling cleric. So those two things are not at odds in Hezbollah's mind, nor in the minds of its followers and its base.
Well, you mentioned the elections, which are coming up in May. And do you think Hezbollah will be able to maintain its grip on power? I mean, there is a lot of discontent in Lebanon right now. People's living standards have really fallen. The group is linked to the Beirut blast of 2020 as well. Do you think they're going to suffer in the elections?
No, I don't. And besides, I think a lot of people, again, there's a lot of analysts and a lot of political operatives in Lebanon and in Washington who are talking a lot about this and blowing it out of proportion. Let's keep one thing in mind. First of all, Hezbollah is going to maintain its representation, and all the other claims about how if they just lose, if the opposition can get 10 more MPs, then they will strip Hezbollah of its majority. Hezbollah did not have the majority in 2005 in the parliamentary elections, for instance. It didn't have it in 2009 either. It didn't matter. Hezbollah maintains total and absolute control over Lebanon, both within and without the state apparatus and the political apparatus. They are going to maintain their bloc. They might even retain the majority, in which case they will continue doing what they're doing. Even if they don't, they will still dictate every political and security decision inside Lebanon. That's a fact. And everyone who's trying to sell the election or civil society or whatever nonsense buzzwords they're using now as some sort of a major moment of change in Lebanon is selling snake oil. It's not real.
So how do you explain the rise in support for Hezbollah inside Lebanon then, since 2005?
Well, I mean, 2005 was a turning point in terms of Hezbollah's formal entry into the cabinet, into government work. Their political work in terms of parliamentary representation, municipal representation, and all of these things had happened well before. So they started in the 90s. Right after the civil war ended, shortly thereafter. And they did it with the blessing and the permission of the Iranian supreme leader, from whom they get their direction. And they've been involved in politics ever since. They didn't have to get into government work directly. They've been in various administrative positions and all the other patronage systems of the government, along with their Shia ally. But when the Syrians were in control of Lebanon, they didn't have to directly get involved in the government work. Once the Syrians left in 2005, they participated more directly. But in terms of their actual power, it's been building since the 80s, and it built during the Syrians, when the Syrians were there in a partnership with the Iranians, and after the Syrians left, as they seized formal control. And right now, they are the largest, the most powerful actor financially, militarily, politically, demographically, and economically. So they are by far the most powerful actor, and everyone else in the country, including those who profess to be their opponents, are actually their junior partners, one way or another, because nobody wants to actually tussle with them. They just want to sit at the table with them. And that's basically, in essence, what Lebanese politics is about.
Tony Badran, fascinating. Thank you very much indeed. Tony Badran there at the FDD.